us in our first meeting outside of City Hall. And thank yous to Mr. Garcetti, Mr. Holden, Mr. Labange, Ms. Misikowski, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Weiss, Mr. Zine for being here. As soon as we have one more member walk in, we can officially begin the meeting.
Good to see you. How are you?
I was trying to get a hold of you about that New York.
Yeah, okay,
I wanted to get that letter, but I understand that.
okay, good.
Well, don't
Great. If you come too, that'd be great. Okay, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I thank you.
Are we expecting what's happening today?
I fixed all this stuff.
I didn't do 33 of them. Hal? Is Hal here?
No, but we're going to
Good morning again, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to, on behalf of the city and my colleague, Councilmember Janice Hahn, welcome everybody to Wilmington. And welcome to the meeting of the Los Angeles City Council for today, Wednesday, December 12th. In the year 2001, we are not in City Hall today. We're out in the community for the first of what will be many council meetings outside of City Hall. It's great to be in the 15th Council District. City Council meets every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, usually at City Hall, and you're all more than welcome to join us. We can also be seen live on your cable station, Channel 35, viewed via webcast on the city's homepage, or heard via council phone. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Brinson, Galantra, Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misikowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. For members of the public who have not been to council meetings before, the rules require that we have 10 members present to constitute a quorum so that we can conduct official council business. We are joined by the council members you see before you, beginning to my left with Councilmember Janice Hahn, the great member of the 15th District. And we'll go in reverse alphabetical order. There's a saying, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And today that'll be the case. Councilmember Dennis Zine. Councilmember Jack Weiss. Councilmember Ed Reyes. Councilmember Nick Pacheco. The Assistant President Pro Tem of the City Council, Councilmember Cindy Misikowski. Councilmember Tom Labange. Councilmember Nate Holden. And Councilmember Eric Garcetti. The City Council couldn't function without a lot of hard work and assistance of some city staff from various departments. I want to acknowledge first from the City Clerk's office. I know they're around. Mike Carey, Helen Ginsberg, and to my right, Maria Kostrencic from here in the harbor area, and Anna Martinez from the CLA's office. Our Chief Legislative Analyst, Ron Deaton, should be around here somewhere, as well as Jerry Miller. Our City Attorney, to my far right, Gail Weingart. She keeps the council in line. And our Sergeant at Arms that try to keep us orderly, Ron Curry, Herman Landry, and Eddie Banks. Our Chief Administrative Officer, Bill Fujioka, and his staff, thank you for being here. And the cameras that you see around the room allow us to be live on those cable channels. LA City View Channel 35, I want to acknowledge the audio crews and the camera crews. Thank you. For formality's sake, I want to announce that copies of today's agenda are available in the lobby if you haven't had a chance to pick one up. The council will consider the items appearing on today's agenda in order. Some of the items may be approved without discussion. However, any item may be called special by any of the members of the City Council. If an item is called special, it will be held and brought up for discussion on an individual basis after the remainder of the items on the agenda have been acted upon by the Council. Any members of the public who wish to speak on any items are requested to please complete a speaker card, which are also available in the lobby, and submit it to one of the sergeants who will bring it to us, and we will allow you to speak on an item. The council will also provide an opportunity for you to speak on any items not appearing on today's agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the city. We also request that you fill out a speaker card for that purpose as well. When debate on any of the items is completed, I will instruct the clerk to take an oral vote of the council members, since we don't have our computer system with us today, and the clerk will also announce the result of each of the items. So colleagues, be aware of that. As we call your name, we're going to need an aye or a nay vote, a yes or a no vote on each of the items. Members, for those requesting to be heard on an item, since we don't have our computer system with us, I'll ask that you sort of just turn around and wave your hand at me, and I'll take you in the order that I see you. We also have a tradition on the City Council to begin special meetings with a flag salute and an invocation. So if I can ask Richard Cisneros and LA Kids to please come forward and lead us in the flag salute, and members of the public to please rise.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And I'd invite at this time Cantor Island Davidson to lead us in our invocation.
Mr. Mayor, Councilwoman Hahn, honorable members of City Council, citizens of the great city of Los Angeles. Indeed, I am humbled by your invitation today to represent our community and address you with words of inspiration as we embark upon new community building initiatives, empower neighborhood councils, and as you do the important work of making Los Angeles the most noteworthy and great city in this proud nation. Yesterday, as our nation and so many other leaders in this world commemorated the tragedies of September 11th, a TV personality commented how it feels so long ago, yet it feels just like yesterday. Truly, our nation has changed in the aftermath, but not in the way that so many may think. We are not a defeated people. We are not a fearful people. We have become one united people, one resolute people, one village that celebrates diversity and looks past color, race, and philosophical difference, truly one nation under God. When I received your invitation, I was in Boston joining together with over 6,000 Reformed Jews from all over North America at the Union of American Hebrew Congregations Biennial Convention, where we honored the heroes of 9/11, the firefighters of New York, where we praised our president for his resolve against terrorism not only in our country, but throughout any part of the world in which there is a threat, and where we reveled in our sense of community. Indeed, like the work upon which you are about to embark in our South Bay communities and throughout the cities of Los Angeles, we recognize the importance of small communities having a strong say in the needs of the whole. Before First Lady, now Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton, spoke her brilliant words, "It takes a village," Abraham and Sarah were welcoming the stranger into their tent. Before the firefighters and police rescue workers refused to leave their posts until their effort was complete, Isaac and Rebecca upheld the beliefs of Isaac's father and the importance of passing them on to future generations. And before this city council decided to empower its villages to have community councils, Jacob, Leah, and Rachel laid the groundwork for 12 separate tribes with one common goal. As you meet here today and in consequent meetings, may you share in the wisdom, dedication to the future, and compassion of our biblical ancestors. May you always remember the importance of each individual village that makes up this great city of angels. And may the best interest of every citizen, the needs of each human being who lives within our borders, the parent, the child, the wealthy, the poor, the elderly, and the infant, be at the forefront of each of your minds as you do your important work in making sure that tzedek, that justice, equality, empathy, and consideration for all peoples in this city is the landmark of our reputation to the world. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Also want to acknowledge the presence of the great mayor of the city of Los Angeles, Mayor James Hahn. Thank you for joining us. And I believe he has a special presentation in a minute. At this time, I wanted, okay. For a presentation, Mayor Hahn.
I always defer to my older brother.
Thank you, President Padilla, for the opportunity to address the City Council and people who came today. Today, we brought City Hall to Wilmington, and I think that's a great day. Today you joined me, many members of the City Council and almost all the general managers of city government at the Banning Residence Museum to celebrate a new era in city government. The first certified neighborhood councils, Neighborhood Council of Wilmington, the Neighborhood Council of Coastal San Pedro. We think this is going to be a great day that we're all going to remember. This is an historic day. I said in my inaugural address, sometimes the greatest distance in the city of Los Angeles is the distance between city halls and neighborhoods. And we're going to change that. We changed that today. We brought City Hall to Wilmington, and these neighborhood councils will help us close that gap. We look forward to working with all the neighborhood councils. I know that the City Council is looking forward to that as well. And I want to do whatever I can to work with the City Council and work with the new neighborhood councils to see what we can do to keep that gap closed and keep government as close to the people as we can. And as mayor of the City of Los Angeles, it is my honor to declare today, December 12th, 2001, Wilmington Day in the City of Los Angeles. If I may, Council President Padilla, if I might have Councilmember Hahn join me with the presentation. Tony O'Donnell and the members of the Wilmington Neighborhood Council, would you accept this proclamation of Wilmington Day today here in the city of Los Angeles? Councilwoman Hahn.
Don't say that loud. Don't say it.
All right.
He said it.
Official photographer of the city of Los Angeles, Ron Butcher, would you take our picture here?
Touch your elbow.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us in this truly historic day in Wilmington. Chair recognizes Mr. Labange.
Mr. Mayor, before you go continue the great duties as mayor of Los Angeles, I just want to say what I said in council when the great councilman of the 15th District announced this meeting, along with our president, that in our great Constitution of the United States, it was Wilmington, Delaware, the first city of the first state of the United States on the Constitution. And how I knew that is I was on a train at 24 years old pulling into Wilmington, Delaware, and the conductor said, now arriving in Wilmington, Delaware, first city of the first state. So now we're arriving in Wilmington, California, the first neighborhood council
All
of the
right.
city of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Councilman Labange.
And now I'd like to not just introduce, but to acknowledge and allow some opening remarks by your representative, the great councilwoman of the 15th District, Janice Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. President. And to all of you who braved the 110 freeway this morning to come all the way down here to the harbor area to Wilmington, I welcome you on behalf of all the residents of Wilmington and of San Pedro in the harbor area. And I want to give special thanks right away to the great band that some of you heard playing music outside, the band of Banning High School under the direction of Woody Woodson. I want to thank Battalion Chief Lou Rapoli for that great show of the engines and the ladders and that American flag as we came down Avalon Boulevard. That was truly patriotic and truly memorable. Chief Bamatri, I hope you're as proud of them as I am. But again, welcome to everyone to Banning's Landing Community Center for this historic meeting, the first time in the history that the Los Angeles City Council has met and held their official meeting here in the community of Wilmington. This is a tribute to our passion and our commitment on this council to bring government closer to its people. And what we're celebrating here this morning, besides having the city council meeting here, is of course the recognition and honor of the certification of the first 2 neighborhood councils in the entire city of Los Angeles, and that's the most notable part of this meeting today, and we're happy to do that. This very building that you're in is actually a testament to Wilmington persistence and dedication and the idea of never giving up. This community center was a dream for over a decade of this community, and it took a long time, but here we are today in what will, I'm sure, one day be a really important landmark just in terms of its structure right here in Wilmington. Those of you again, who came here this morning, who have never before attended a city council meeting because either it was too far away or too inconvenient, we really do welcome you and hope you will enjoy participating in this level of government. We've got to figure out as we move forward how to bring government closer to the people, and we feel like we're going to do that through neighborhood councils. And today, I am pleased, as well as the mayor, to honor the first 2 certified neighborhood councils, the Neighborhood Council of Wilmington and the Neighborhood Council of Coastal San Pedro. And I want to give recognition to 2 of my other colleagues on the City Council, Dennis Zine and Nick Pacheco, who along with me served on the Los Angeles Elected Charter Reform Commission. And it was one of the things that we fought very hard to make sure that was included in the new charter was this creation, this system of neighborhood councils throughout the city of Los Angeles. So I give them thanks and credit for their vision many years ago, and I hope you feel proud today. I will bring up the 2 neighborhood councils for one more presentation up here, but before that, I would like to have stand, if we have anybody in the audience who are also forming neighborhood councils and are ready to submit their application soon, would you please stand so we can encourage you to keep staying involved until your neighborhood councils are also certified. So on behalf, before I make this presentation, let me say, on behalf of a very grateful community and a very grateful councilwoman to all my colleagues, and particularly to our president, Alex Padilla, for choosing Wilmington to be one of the first communities that we've decided to bring our city council meeting on the road to. I am really grateful, and I really am glad you are all here today. So why don't the neighborhood councils come back up here, and I will present you 2 more certificates. Let's see, we have, where are my names? From the Wilmington Neighborhood Council, we have Tony O'Donnell, who's the chair. And on that very important steering committee, we have Eddie Duque, Gary Kern, and Lucia Moreno. Why don't you come up? Give them a big round of applause. They will forever be the first neighborhood council to be certified in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Councilmember Hahn. I would just like to say that I'm very proud and honored to have served as the chair for the steering committee for the first neighborhood council in the city of Los Angeles, the Wilmington Neighborhood Council. And I would also like to say that it was a long process, but it was made easier by the very generous support of Councilmember Hahn and her staff, which included Sergio Carrillo. And I would also like to state that it also was made possible by the very good and generous support of the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, headed by the General Manager, Greg Nelson. We were very fortunate to have an excellent project coordinator, Reginald Zachary, as our coach, and also we were very fortunate to have the involvement and support of Commissioner Pat Herrera Duran. So I wanted to acknowledge those people as well as my own department, the Department of Recreation and Parks. I work as a pool manager right here in Wilmington at the Banning High School and Community Swimming Pool, and I'd like to acknowledge the support from my department to be able to give back to the community in helping create the Wilmington Neighborhood Council. And one last thing, the most important people I'd like to acknowledge today are my parents, Tom and Marion O'Donnell, who are in the audience today, too.
While they're documenting this historic day, I want to acknowledge the arrival of another one of our colleagues, Councilmember Jan Perry from the 9th District. Thank you.
Number 2, but just as good, I'd like to bring up the Coastal San Pedro Neighborhood Council, Doug Epperhart, the chair, and the steering committee members. Who's here? Bruce Simons, are you here? Siemens? Bruce is here, and Steve Shore. Come on up. Say a few words.
Well, I'd like to thank Tony O'Donnell, who actually worked on our our neighborhood council effort too. She and her parents are residents of the coastal area. And other than that, she mentioned just about everybody, but we had over 200 people involved in putting this together over an 18-month period. And, you know, it isn't us who did this, it's all of them, really. And that's all I have to say other than thank you.
Thank you.
Between Wilmington and Pedro? The giant. Did you go to church? Had confession? Didn't need to, but made
So again, thank you for everyone who's here this morning. And I just want all of you to know, those of you who don't watch the city council meeting on a regular basis, I never get to sit up this high at City Hall.
We make a good team. With that, so you don't think it's all fun and games in the council, we do have business to attend to. So please watch and be amazed. Madam Clerk, first item, please.
Approval of the minutes.
Ms. Hahn moves and Mr. White seconds.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Mr. Labange moves and Mr. Holden seconds.
Before beginning the regular agenda, Mr. President, there are several items to continue. Items 2 and 3 are public hearing items. A request has been made to continue those to May 22nd, 2002.
Members request to continue items 2 and 3 without objection.
And there's a request on item number 4 to receive and file that item inasmuch as the assessment has been paid.
Members request to receive and file item number 4, also without objection.
On the regular agenda, items notice for public hearing. Item number 1 is a hearing regarding street improvement for lighting districts. The council should open the public hearing and continue the hearing and the ordinance to January 8th, 2002.
Okay, item number 1 is before us. Do not have requests from members of the public to speak on this item, so we shall open the hearing and continue the item to January 8th. Next item, please.
Next items, Mr. President, also in the items notice for public hearing, items 5 through 9 are building and safety assessments. A motion is required, and I believe there are no cards.
Items 5 through 9, notice for public hearing. I do not have requests from members of the public to speak on these items, so we shall deem the public hearing open and closed on items 5 through 9. Any members wishing to be heard on items 5 through 9? Mr. Holden?
Carry on.
Items 5 through 9. Madam Clerk, a motion is required on which item?
On all of them, Mr. President.
On all of them. Is there a motion from the floor? Mr. Garcetti moves approval. Madam Clerk, please open the roll on items 5 through 9.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misakowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
11 ayes.
Items 5 through 9 are approved. Next item, please.
On the regular agenda, items for which public hearings have been held, items 10 through 19. I believe there are cards from the public on 10, 13, and 14, although a public hearing has been held in committee.
Public hearing has been held on these items, so we're not required to hold a public hearing at the council level. Public hearing was held in committee. Requests from members of the public have been submitted on items 10, 13, and 14. A motion from the floor is in order to reopen the hearing and hear from members of the public.
So moved.
Ms. Hahn moves, Mr. Weiss seconds on items 10, 13, and 14.
I'd also like to call 19 special.
Ms. Hahn calls 19 special.
12 and 18 special.
Mr. Holden calls 12 and 18 special. So 10, 13, and 14 are called specials. We can hear from the speakers. That leaves items 11, 15, 16, and 17. Any other specials? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please open the roll on the balance of the items.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
11 ayes.
Those items are approved. Next item, please.
Next items, Mr. President, items 20 through 31 are items for which public hearings have not been held, and there are no cards on
Items
these items.
20 through 31 now before us.
Let's call 22 special.
Ms. Hahn calls 22 special. Any other specials? Mr. Pacheco?
Number 25.
Mr. Pacheco calls 25 special. 26. Mr. Garcetti calls 26 special. Any others? Any other specials? Seeing none, we have before us 20 and 21, 23, 24, and 27 through 31. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
11 ayes.
And, Mr. President, there is an ordinance on item number 20, so that ordinance will go over 1 week. Well, actually, yes, 1 week.
Okay, so 20 carries over for 1 week for a second reading, and the rest of the items are approved. Next item, please.
Going back to the items that were called special, item number 10 was called special inasmuch as there is a card from the public.
Item number 10 is now before us. For those unfamiliar with the agenda, this is the item concerning the White Point Nature Reserve. The council calls forward at this time, and as you'll see, there's a podium with a microphone. I'd ask Ms. Bria Beesman-Simons to come forward, to be followed by Lauren DeRoy and Leah Marinkovich.
Good morning. My name is Bria Beesman-Simmons. I live at 3603 Almeria Street, which is just a few blocks away from White Point. I have a story to tell you that will hopefully influence your decision regarding this project. Just last Friday morning, my mom was driving our car full to school, and we were going past White Point. There were 4 kids in the car. I don't remember exactly how it started, but all of a sudden, we were talking about the times we would each help during cleanup days. I remembered the day I clipped the tops off the fennel plants so that the seeds on them would not blow and spread. Kelsey Conlon remembered pulling 3 bags of cheeseweed with her dad. Teddy White also remembered that he had collected cheeseweed with his family. My little sister Catalina remembered the time she planted some poppy plants near the fence along Paseo del Mar. You can definitely see the difference we have made. A lot of people put in a lot of time and effort. Even though some people only managed a little time, there was a lot of effort and hope. Hope that someday it could be a great preserve that we have all contributed to. I hope that you have realized how many people care about this project, including me. I also hope that I have influenced your decision in a yes way. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
I'm sold. Ms. Lauren DeRoy and Leah Marinkovich.
Thank you. That is a hard act to follow. My name is Lauren DeRoy. I'm the White Point Project Manager from the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy. I want to thank Councilwoman Hahn for arranging to have this matter before you agendized here in the 15th District so that the community who has worked so hard on the project could all witness what we hope will be a full City Council approval. This project has demonstrated how effective partnerships between the community, nonprofit organizations, and city government can be. All parties to the partnership have worked hard and remain focused on the goal to develop for the very special White Point Parkland property a plan that would not only preserve its precious resources, but also serve the needs of the entire Los Angeles region that it will serve. I would like to begin by giving thanks and credit to the Community Steering Committee appointed by former Councilman Rudy Savornich for their dedication and hard work toward the development of the master plan. Councilwoman Hahn knows how great the people of San Pedro are, and this group of individuals epitomizes this greatness. Each member contributed their own special talents, professional services, and plain hard work at the cleanup days, and many are here today, and I'd like to ask them to stand, members of the steering committee. During the course of the Conservancy's involvement with the city on this project, we have been in coordination with many sections of the Department of Recreation and Parks. What we have found are dedicated and talented professionals that have been so willing to participate in this joint venture. I would like to begin by recognizing the Maintenance Department responsible for White Point Park. These men take pride in the parks they manage and have been willing to share their knowledge with all of us. It has been a true inspiration to work with them, and I believe some are here today. I know Julian Jimenez is here. If he could please stand, and also Roberto Inocencio and Juan Benitez. We would also not have been able to complete this project without the support and commitment of the council office, Janice Hahn and her deputy Elise Swanson, and from the department, the incredible Gat Lam, here. Marjorie Matthews and Ellen Oppenheim, of course, and the great people in the planning department, Paul Davis, who is here, you can stand, and his cohort, David Attaway, and from the legal department, Laurel Leitner. And if I can be just a little indulgent, I'd also like to thank the staff of the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy, Steve Hine, and our executive director, Keith Leonard, and our consulting biologist, Angelica Brinkman-Busse. Please stand. We hope that council will recognize the great effort that all have contributed and will vote to approve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Marinkovich.
Thank you, President Padilla, honorable council members. It's a pleasure to be here this morning to share with you one of the great inspirations of White Point Nature Preserve, and that is the diverse community of people who have joined together to begin the creation of this very special place. At the grassroots level, Friends of White Point was joined by over 3,000 petitioners. The San Pedro and Peninsula Homeowners Coalition, the Palos Verdes Peninsula Land Conservancy, the local chapters of the South Bay Native Plant Society and Sierra Club, the White Point Task Force, the San Pedro Neighborhood Council of Girl Scouts, and the hundreds of dedicated students and volunteers who show up monthly to work at the preserve and share a vision for our unique coastal nature park. Today, we celebrate our partnership with the City of Los Angeles Recreation and Parks Department and the unwavering support of Councilwoman Janice Hahn and Mayor James Hahn. It's truly amazing what we will accomplish as we all work together to create this wonderful community resource, White Point Nature Preserve. Thank you very much.
This concludes the public comment on item number 10. Members wishing to be heard on item number 10. Ms. Hahn, to be followed by Mr. Weiss.
Thank you. I just hope, of course, that you will all support this with an aye vote. You wouldn't want to embarrass me in front of my own community, would you?
No pressure.
But this is really, as you heard, an example of a diverse group of people who have come together to preserve, protect, and really nurture one of the great last open spaces really anywhere on the West Coast. And if you have time before you drive back home today, I can tell you how to drive by this location, because once you see it, you will be truly amazed. And what this is going to represent really for the future, for generations to come, for our children who, as you know, in this city have very few open spaces left that are really in its natural habitat state. So I really want to congratulate those who had the vision to protect this and preserve this, who have also been unwavering in their commitment. And this is a great example of a public-private partnership, and I am proud that Los Angeles is part of that partnership. So thank you for coming today and testifying.
Mr. Weiss, then Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say two things. One, I want my colleagues to know that I've submitted an amending motion, which is before you as 10A. I would ask your approval of that. It's been seconded by Councilwoman Hahn. And I just want the people in this community to know that as the council member who chaired the committee, that this measure came through a week or two ago, I could not help but be struck by how dedicated this community was to this particular nature preserve. And it was very, very impressive, all the work that all of you did in ensuring that this area would be preserved. And I do want to praise my colleague, Councilwoman Hahn. It was very clear to me at that committee how many days and hours she and her staff had put in to bringing all of the stakeholders together, all of the parties, the environmental interests, the business interests, the public sector agencies, and the private agencies. She is to be commended for her vision in steering this through, and how fitting it is that we will approve, and I believe we will approve unanimously, this important environmental preserve today here in Councilwoman Hahn's district. So congratulations to all of you.
Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you. I was lucky enough to be there as well as in the Arts, Health, and Humanities Committee when many of you came before Councilmember Weiss and saw the strength of the activism. I also just wanted to add one note that I think the neighborhood councils is appropriate today as we certify our first two, can really be a network for bringing together the green spaces in our city. Our city has less than 10% the recommended urban average for park space in the United States. In some districts, it's less than 5%. And really, it's something that we can share with each other. And I look forward to having neighborhood councils in my area inviting you to come to the LA River to see that green belt, and then coming down here to share this with you as well. So just wanted to add that note, and congratulations.
Mr. Labange, to be followed by Ms. Hahn.
Well, I want to congratulate Janice Hahn and the people who have done this. And when Mr. Garcetti mentioned the Los Angeles River, I wanted to just mention that we have to continue to do a better job of keeping the streets and the river clean so it doesn't pollute the harbor and the area and the ocean here. And I remember a site in front of a school where I caught a young student. I don't mean to tell you it was in front of Marshall High, my alma mater, but they were littering. And when they littered, I explained to them how the trash goes down the gutter, down the drain to the big storm drain, down the river into, unfortunately, Long Beach. The Los Angeles River enters Long Beach, San Pedro Harbor, and then into the ocean, then into the fish, then back into our stomachs if we choose to eat fish. So we want to keep a healthy body and a healthy mind, so we keep our streets clean. But all the preserves that we make, throughout the city of Los Angeles have a great environmental effect. When you spoke of this earlier, I thought of the work of Hal Bernson in the Chatsworth Nature Preserve, which is absolutely a wonderful preserve, absolutely a pristine area in the West San Fernando Valley, a former reservoir, but now a preserve. And all this will connect because of the migrant birds that will fly throughout the city of Los Angeles on the way up and down the coast. So great job, everybody. Great job, Janice.
Didn't know you were coming from a biology lesson, did you? Councilmember Hahn.
Well, I just wanted to, I was remiss in not mentioning someone who really has put all the hours into really making this a successful project and will continue to be the point person in my office. And sometimes I'll take credit for everything, but I'm starting to feel guilty with everybody thanking me. It's really Elise Swanson on my staff who has worked really hard. So I wanted to give you credit for this.
Any other members wishing to be heard?
Okay.
Mr. Zine.
To show how government sometimes works, the little girl who made the first statement, I made my decision at that particular point. So sometimes government is cumbersome and bureaucratic, but she convinced me, so there you go. Thank you.
I would have worked him over if she hadn't, don't worry.
Lobbyists everywhere, take note.
Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Mr. President, do you wish to take the amending motion first, or do you wish to combine those?
Let's take the, well, without objection by the author, consider item 10 as amended. Please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misakowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Weiss, Sine, Padilla.
11 eyes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 12, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, I think the staff should give us a report on this First Amendment contract, why asking for a year extension, what has been the additional cost of the change orders. I think the public has a right to know why it's been an increase in the original contract, funding, money set aside in order to complete the contract, and what guarantee do we have that one additional year in this construction management contract is going to be sufficient in order to complete the project for Evergreen. And this is a big outfit, and I think we all want to know about it.
Go ahead.
Bob Henry from the Port, and I'd like to welcome you, first of all, to Banning's Landing, our beautiful building we built. Councilman, what this is an agreement with the Holmes and Narver to do some design work on gate expansion and backland improvements at the Evergreen terminal to relieve truck congestion. And the contract has been extended because we ran into some design difficulties, and we're working with Evergreen. We've got those worked out.
You have some design changes, and change orders cost money. That's what I want to know about.
Yeah, that's what we had. We had some change
you run
orders.
Into trouble, you made some changes.
I can't hear you, sir.
You didn't run into trouble, you made some changes.
Well, we hope to we've worked those troubles out by making the changes so we can finish the project
What
off.
were they, and why is the cost increase?
Well, what we found was that when we redesigned the gate entrance in particular, it did not accomplish what we wanted to do, was to reduce the congestion of the trucks. So what we did is we went back and worked with Evergreen again to do some design changes on the gates in particular so we can get the trucks in and out of there more quickly. That's where the majority of the changes came about.
And this contract is for the construction management team, is that correct?
Right, they're involved
All
with the
right, so it
construction.
has nothing to do with design. They're managing the construction of the project, yes?
Yeah, they were, in the initial stages, they were involved with the design, then they moved in the construction management phase, and that's where we are now. We'll wrap this up by
And you're giving them an extension in the contract?
We're giving them
this weather problem you said you had that caused you to slow down?
There was some of that, too.
What was that? Tell us.
Well, we had a heavy rain season last year that caused some problems, so we had to delay some of the construction of the terminal.
I don't know why you had any problem like that down here. It was going to cost more money. We rained all over the city, and there's no increase in cost.
No,
construction management.
Yeah, we were just caught at the wrong time, then went in the construction phase.
Yeah, poor planning, huh? I don't know. I see too much of this. I've been around here a long time, and I just thought it was worth noting. The public has a right to know. And we're down here where this job is being done with Evergreen. It's a big outfit. They should be. What portion, if any, are they contributing to this construction project?
Well, their permit requires that, of course, they're paying us the permit fee for the lease of the land, and they are paying part of the construction costs.
How much
also.
are they paying?
About 50%.
How much is that?
It's about, of the total change is about maybe $8 to $10 million, I think we'll pay out.
Wasn't in the report. Was not a part of the committee's report. That's why I had to ask some questions. The amounts of money you're talking about is not included as a part of the committee report. The amount that Evergreen pays.
Oh, okay. We'll make sure that the information is included in every report you see.
All right.
Other members wishing to be heard? Mr. Zine.
Regarding the expenditure not to exceed $4 million paid from the Harbor Revenue Fund, I know the airport funds are down. How solid is the Harbor Revenue Fund at this time?
Oh, we're very solid. In fact, we're setting records every month for additional cargo coming through the port, and we have felt no ill effects of September 11th, frankly. We're showing positive increases every month.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Holden.
One further comment. Since you're so solid with your revenue, why is it that it's very difficult for the port to contribute a proportionate share of the monies that's required for the services that we provide for the port? And you can do that legally without going to the state legislature for authorization to do so. We have a shortfall in our budget generated primarily because we provide services for the port, airport, et cetera. And we can't get enough money given back for the services, so therefore it generates a shortfall in the general fund for the city of Los Angeles. Have you thought of correcting that problem?
Well, what we do now is we contribute about $14 million a year, which are directly paid for city services. And of course, we had the Nexus lawsuit a couple of years ago where the State Lands Commission intervened about transferring money from the harbor to the city.
But for cause, though, of course. You can do it for services rendered.
Well, and we do that right now. We pay $14 million.
The stipulated agreement that is not $14 million, but it's $20 million based on, we itemize the services that we provide, then you'll give an increase.
That's right. If there are stipulated services, we will pay for those services, and we do.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Any other members? Seeing none, we have the report before us. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misakowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 13, called special, inasmuch as there is cards from the public.
Item 13 is now before us. The council calls forward Mr. Skip Baldwin.
Good morning, council members. I am, Skip Baldwin with the Wilmington Citizens Committee. I'm also a member of the Wilmington Neighborhood Council and the Port Community Advisory Committee. Over a year ago, I was contacted by local neighborhood activists about their concern over the building of the then known as Berlin Wall, which you are now being asked to allocate another $1,568,400 for. My reaction was, at the suggestion of the former mayor, to submit our own community plan. The community plan that was developed was the Polo Park Plan, or Port of Los Angeles Park Plan. This Polo Park Plan used the concept of a flat park along C Street as a beautiful, functional park that can be used by Wilmington's most important asset, our children, who are now standing in line, factually, to use the present park at this adjoining this location. The Polo Park Plan is not only the most inexpensive plan and the most flexible plan, it also gives our community what is so desperately needed, the playing fields for our youth. Over 500 signatures were quickly gathered in approval of the community Polo Park Plan. Then I submitted it to the following: the Port of Los Angeles, the Port of Los Angeles Harbor Commissioners, 15th Council District Office. None of these even bothered to acknowledge receiving the community Polo Park Plan. The original complaint in the community about this project was a building of a 20-foot wall along C Street, creating the Berlin Wall. But we have been assured by the following that there will be no wall. Port Commission President Wentworth, there will be no wall. It's off the table. Hired port lobbyist Keith Gurney, there will be no wall. Mayor James Hahn, the most adamant of all, there will be no wall if I'm elected. I will have the trucks in a 20-foot trench before a 20-foot wall is built. We have submitted the video of the mayor's promises to the port commissioners. After all the no wall promises, you're being asked today to approve spending more money to build this very same 20-foot wall. Only the name has changed. Now it is the dirty wall, the wall with dirt stacked against it, which is only more expensive. It excludes the use of a flat park that our children can use for soccer, baseball, and other sports. As I say, the community polo plan is the most economical and also the most flexible plan. But the community can't work out the plan with city government if the government entities will not even acknowledge receiving copies of the plan. The Port Community Advisory Committee has been created for cases such as this one. On October 24th, I asked the commissioners to let the Port Community Advisory Committee review this polo plan. I received no reply, just a vote to send the matter to you. At this time, I'm asking you to take no action on this matter until the Port Community Advisory Committee has reviewed the Polo Park plan and given its recommendations. This is a decision that affects Wilmington for all time. It is a major project. We have the time. Let's make an informed decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That concludes public comment on this item. Any members wishing to be heard? Item 13. Ms. Hahn.
Thank you again, and it was important that we had this item agendized today so that, again, those of you who are impacted by this decision have an opportunity to weigh in on this, to give your opinion on this issue. And colleagues, this is an issue that's been plaguing this community for many, many, many years. And any of you who came down C Street off the Harbor Freeway to come here this morning, you would have seen the area that we're talking about, which is why I wanted you to drive that way. But it's clearly this has been a long time effort to have some buffer between the expansion of the port and the enormous amount of truck traffic that goes through this community and its residential neighborhood. And initially, Skip was right. There was a mile-high wall, a mile-long, 20-foot-high brick wall, concrete wall that was supposed to be erected, and clearly the community was not in favor of that and objected vehemently to that and felt like that would be the worst possible thing that could go into this community. So through a series of community meetings that were held here, many people who were involved in the neighborhood council actually came to many of those community meetings. And a different design was brought forward. Several designs were brought forward to the community instead of just a plain wall, which I was one of those who was afraid that that would just be a magnet for taggers and graffiti. And of those who attended the community meetings, there was a new design that was chosen by the majority of people who came to those meetings. And this is what we're talking about now. It is a landscaped berm. It has a walkway on the top that people will actually get to still see the harbor, view the water, get the ocean breeze. There will also be a place, as I'm told, towards the bottom of it where we will build a soccer field, one soccer field. This community has way too few soccer fields. But this award today is to an engineering company that has, as part of their contract, they must continue to get community input. They must continue as they move forward to meet with the community, to make sure that the community is online with this design and that it will, in fact, not only meet the needs of buffering this community from the Port of Los Angeles, but enhance the community with landscaping and places for people to recreate as well. So that's what we're doing today. The important part about this is there will be community input going forward.
Any other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
12 ayes.
That item is approved. Before going on to the next item, I'd like to announce the arrival and welcome the President Pro Tem of the City Council from the 8th District, Councilmember Mark Ridley Thomas. And with his arrival, we do have 12 members. Madam Clerk, I'd ask that we reconsider item number 20 for purposes of a 12-member vote on the ordinance. Without objection, colleagues, we'll reconsider item 20. Mr. Holden? Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, Mr. President, item number 14, called special inasmuch as there is a card from the public and a motion is required on that. A report has been submitted and has been distributed to all the council members.
Okay, the council calls forward Mr. Skip Baldwin on item number 14.
Thank you again. As one of the other volunteer projects we take up here, we do clean up the Wilmington industrial area and work with the LA Police, the Port Police, and occasionally the mayor's liaison. I'm concerned because when I call Isabella Rivero and leave my name and number and so forth, she doesn't call me back. So what I'm saying is the community is not getting the feedback we need, or our input is not going into the directors of this Wilmington industrial area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This concludes public comment on item number 14. Members wishing to be heard on item 14, Mr. Holden, Mr. Garcetti, and Ms. Hahn.
Mr. President, members, I think it's appropriate that the staff gives a report on this strategy, economic adjustment strategy for the Wilmington Industrial Parks as it relates to the brownfields. Give us some history on the brownfields and what all that really represents in terms of contaminated soil, et cetera, and then I'll comment.
Ms. Susan Totaro. I'm project manager for the LA Harbor Industrial Center. The item before you is award of a contract to a team of consultants to analyze the various complex development impediments that we experience in the Wilmington Industrial Park, which is also the redevelopment project area. What we face in this area is that we're concerned more regarding the subsurface conditions, the condition of the soils, how to attract the type of industrial development that the advisory committee that advises us would like to see improve and enhance their image for this area. And basically, we feel very fortunate to have a qualified team of consultants who are experts in geotechnical, information services, planning, landscape, architecture, and design, as well as strong real estate transactional background to give us an idea of what it takes to what are our development impediments, what resources and assets do we have, being next to the Port of Los Angeles, the third largest harbor in the world, and to develop a strategy that not only works for government, but for this community, and capitalizing on a lot of information that has already been created by various city governments. Our approach is to not create new database, but to utilize what's out there, centralize it, make it accessible, create a website, put Wilmington on the map, and make it known that we are development friendly.
Wilmington is already on the map.
Meaning, try to alleviate some of the concerns.
No, what I'm saying is that when they start doing analyzing this soil contaminants, they're going to, in the whole redevelopment area, we're talking about 200 and, how much $1,000 are we talking?
232 acres is the Wilmington
$225,000 bucks, 230 plus acres of land. Are they going to do some soil sampling throughout the whole area, or at what points? And maybe somebody else can tell us that. Anybody here from that contracting team? Because we need to know that we got some mom and pops operators down here, and they've been asked by the Port Authority to do their own soil sampling, which is not fair if you're going to just take care of the fat cats with the 225,000 bucks.
Our intent is that the redevelopment agency has already performed some soils analysis. We would like some of that information updated. The geotechnical engineers do have other sources of information, and yes, there will be samplings done for particular opportunity sites that we would like to pursue.
And who determines what those opportunity sites are?
It'll be based on the data that has been collected to...
Or how well known the individual might be, huh?
Hopefully it's a very objective process.
I would hope so.
On...
Right. I would, because there have been a lot of people down here complaining about the fact that the ports have not been listening to their concern and complaints about the contaminated soil, and yet they're demanding that a corrective action be taken of them, and they're small operators. So this is worthwhile if you give everybody fair consideration. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Garcetti.
Thank you, Mr. President. As chair of the Economic Development and Employment Committee, I can't rise today because I sit in support of this. I wanted to just, for the members of the public, I know the crowd has been thinning a little bit, and as we have our city council meetings, this is when it starts to get very dense. But just to explain very simply what this is, it's going to be a website which allows development in this area by giving all the soils and geological data, all the stuff about brownfields, those empty lots that sometimes are called brownfields that are often contaminated, to bring development here. And the reason why this is innovative is because it's something that government doesn't always do, and something certainly that we haven't done in the past. And for all the rest of the council members, it's something hopefully that if this model works here, we can import to other places, to other brownfields throughout this city, so that developers who are out there can go online, immediately assess what these parcels of land are like, get the data that Councilmember Holden was talking about, and make those intelligent, informed decisions with the community about what sort of developments they can have. I think this is very cutting-edge government at its best. I urge my colleagues to support this. I also want to praise the CRA for its work there, and I think that this is the sort of model we can hopefully see in the coming year or two throughout the city with our brownfields policy. Thank you.
Ms. Hahn.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just, I'm in support of this because clearly this has such great potential to be a very successful industrial park right here in Wilmington, bringing businesses, creating jobs, really creating an area that is really begins the economic development in this community that's so necessary. I've been really disappointed so far in this industrial park. I think it has great opportunities, but it clearly has not reached its potential, and I'm really hoping that this money will be spent on a good economic strategy that really really creates the potential that I know is here in this city. So I'm really looking forward to the success of this. I have been disappointed so far. I think we can do a lot better. I think we can attract more businesses, and I clearly think now we have the resources to clean up Brownsfield and to make them attractive to business and developers everywhere. And I do want to say that we do have an advisory committee, the Wilmington Industrial Park Community Advisory Committee, that meets once a month. So anyone that does have ideas, that does want to give input into the development of this industrial park is more than welcome to come. So again, I will be watching this. I really think this is our last chance to make it successful.
Mr. Holden?
It's my understanding that EPA designated a number, maybe 8 or 9 regions throughout the United States as ones that they would go in and establish what is known as brownfield, identify where the contaminated soils are, and then once discovered, work with the industry to develop businesses for jobs, for job creation. Is that something like that, Mr. Hernandez? Yeah, and I think that there may be some additional funding available other than the $225,000 that we're talking about here. And I would suggest you look into that. Mr. Hernandez, if I'm permitted, Mr. President, I think we worked on a project like that with brownfield, identifying a brownfield and coming with job opportunities. And when you were there, use this mic over here, it's good enough. I want to welcome former Councilman Mr. Mike Hernandez.
Councilman Holden, the City of Los Angeles has been selected as one of the brownfield demonstration cities throughout the country. And it means we have a brownfield team that is made up not only of CRA and the CLA's office, as well as the Environmental Affairs Department. And they're working very adamantly at trying to reuse a lot of this land that has been contaminated. The project before you right now basically is going to provide information to potential developers as to what is there now so that they can go into an area with some knowledge and some expertise and what kinds of resources are available for them to try and reuse that land. And what it's going to take to make that happen. Right now, what basically intimidates a lot of development, and I say intimidates, is the unknown. The fact that they have no idea what it's going to cost to do the cleanup and what kinds of partnerships they can develop in basically securing the financing to do that cleanup so that that land can be reused. And while it lies empty it basically contributes to the blight of an overall community. And so this is basically to try and answer many of those questions, to let developers know what kinds of partnerships can be made, how it is that the current landowners can try and develop some partnerships with the federal government, the state government, to start working on some of the cleanups and to make the unknowns known. And again, this is a demonstration project. I think we're going to need it throughout Los Angeles, and hopefully it'll be very successful.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. He and I worked on something like this before, and so I just thought he'd share the information with you. All right, Mr. President, I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Any other members wishing to be heard on this item? Seeing none, there's a motion for approval by Ms. Hahn. Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misikowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Next item.
Before going to the next item, the chair recognizes Mr. Zine.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, and I want to apologize. I have a meeting in the San Fernando Valley at 5 o'clock tonight. I have to leave here now to get there in time. That's just a joke. That's just a joke. I say 5 o'clock. I was here, and I want to thank Councilmember Hahn for this meeting this morning. I was also at Holy Family Church for the 5 a.m. service, which I want to thank the parish of Holy Family for their warm welcome and the celebration, Guadalupe Mass that was celebrated. But I need to go to the Valley for another meeting, and I just want to apologize for leaving. And I think if you look at the flavor of this city council and the mayor working together in cooperation with the establishment of neighborhood councils, you see a new environment in Los Angeles. And I just want to thank the audience. It's a far ride from the San Fernando Valley to San Pedro, but we will be sponsoring this in the San Fernando Valley in the 3rd District. I invite you to come out to our area when we sponsor it, and all of my colleagues will be sponsoring in their particular council districts. And I apologize I have to go, but I've postponed this meeting twice, and I need to be there. So thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure visiting San Pedro, part of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you all. Wilmington, I'm sorry, Wilmington. I am lost sometimes.
Thank you, Mr. Zine. Madam Clerk, next item, please.
I told him we would be nice today.
Item number 18, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, item number 18.
Mr. President, maybe the staff, I didn't see a report on item 18, and the staff want to talk about this proposed legislation and why the city is taking a position on it.
Mr. Holden, I'm Michael Karsh with the Legislative Analyst Office. This is a recommendation that was brought to you by the Bureau of Street Lighting. The Rules, Elections, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee agreed with the recommendation. What this proposal for state legislation, if it leads to legislation, would do is when there are benefit assessments assessed in a neighborhood for street lighting or for anything else, that if the owners of the property happen to be the state of California, that there be one designated agency of the state.
Repeat that. If the owners of the properties happens to be the state of California.
Yes, the state does own hundreds of parcels within the city.
In case where it's not that.
Otherwise, it would be either homeowners or it would be business people who own businesses.
And they would be the point of contact.
Yes. Who would be the point of contact when it is the state of California that owns the property?
And why are you suggesting that it be the Department of General Services rather than another department?
The Department of General
Services. I understand State Department of General Services. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. General Services happens to be the one that does own a lot of the properties, but not all of them. They are the ones who have been the point of contact occasionally when the city has tried to levy an assessment on the state. The state, by the way, does owe an obligation on a benefit assessment after the passage of Proposition 218. So this has been something the street lighting has come into contact with in the last 5 years, trying to collect trying to get them to participate in the benefit assessment, that is, to vote on it, to say that, yes, we should. We have actually had one street lighting assessment fail because most of the property owners were the LA Unified School District. And they didn't know what to do. They never responded. So the attempt to get street lighting at 4th and Lucas failed. However, since then, street lighting has been able to get the LA Unified to agree on how they're supposed to respond to these things, and there's going to be another attempt at that lighting district next year. We need to do the same thing with the state of California. However, local efforts with the Department of General Services have failed to result in anything, and they have suggested that we may need to do state legislation in order to get the state government to finally recognize where the point of contact should be and whether or not, and how they should be responding on the vote that is required in a lighting district. We have worked with the city attorney on this. They believe that it's feasible. The State Department of General Services, while they have not said they're going to approve it, have suggested this is perhaps the best way to go. Maybe this will be resolved through administrative action through the governor's office, or maybe it will need state legislation. But in either course of events, we need to have an official city position in order to have the lobbyists begin working with people at the Sacramento level. There could be, we're looking at maybe $250,000 to $500,000 in future assessments, new assessments, or an increase in assessments, which would be the only situation which would trigger the coverage of the state who owns the parcels.
In those cases where the state is not the majority of property owners, and the...
Well, they should still be in it, yeah.
And the benefit assessment, the assessment has been levied against the property owners. The state, are they paying their proportionate share?
No.
They're not. So they had a $12 billion surplus, and they mishandled the money in Sacramento. Now they got a maybe $14 billion shortfall. How do you think you're going to work this out?
I don't know.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Reyes.
Hello? Okay, great. I think one of the key factors here is that as we have our business investment districts increase, as we look at these different target neighborhood initiatives, many of the strategies you'll be finding is that the lighting districts will be looked at as a strategy to improve the environment. And so our need to have this focus, according with the state, is going to be that much more profound as these BIDs begin to unfold, as we start looking at work programs, we start looking at the various timelines in which these different improvements come on schedule. So the need to have that focus is paramount, and we need to have some strategy that can address the issue of efficiency in moving these monies along. So I applaud you of any effort of making this thing happen in a way in which we can get these improvements online. The money's there, we have to spend it. A lot of the funds that we're using are block grant, and we can't be delaying any longer. So appreciate anything you can do to that end.
Mr. Holden.
Yeah, I just want to add by saying that when you have a 12 plus 14, $26 billion turnaround, they must have term limits up there in some place which cause all this to happen. Freshman legislators. And the public needs to know that. Inexperience lost $27 billion in Sacramento. Hopefully we can change it when the election comes around in March.
I move that we run Mr. Holden for state senate.
I've been to the state senate already.
Go back.
Now, any members wishing
If I go back up there, I'll have a state law so you can only serve one term, Mr. And you would be out.
Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misikowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Padilla.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 19, called special by Council Member Hahn.
Oh my God, wasn't that Holden?
Item 19 now before us. Ms. Hahn.
Actually, this is an appropriate item after a little discord down there on the front row. I'm actually asking us colleagues to permanently establish a moment of inspiration the first Tuesday of every week on our city council. Currently, we are allowed to have an invocation once a month on the city council, but it has come to my attention that seems to me we could always use more inspiration, and we could always use more of the invoking of blessings on what we do. I feel that many times we're rushing around on council meetings trying to get there, read our agendas, talk to our staff. This morning, of course, it was a very exciting morning here in Wilmington, but I think we all realize that our council meetings are more than just motions, more than just discussions, more than just debates. I think we all chose to serve in this capacity, to rise to a higher level, not only for ourselves, but for those people that we serve. And I believe in this time in our country, in this time in our city, that it would be appropriate that we do start every week, every Tuesday morning with a moment of inspiration. We'd all be able to submit a list of qualified people who we thought would be good to inspire the rest of the council, submit that to the city clerk, and then on a rotating basis, the city clerk would pick people from all over the city, representative of all of our districts, to let us stop for a moment, remember why we're here, and center our thoughts on really becoming everything I think we all want to become, but more importantly, reminding the city that we do have our hearts and our thoughts in the right place before we begin every week. So I hope you will agree with me on that. And again, when you begin to submit your list, it doesn't have to just be religious people of different faiths, although that is a great place to be inspired. But there are many people who I think could bring a moment of inspiration. And I wanted to thank Cantor Davidson this morning, who those of you who were here at the beginning of the meeting, I'm sure all felt really inspired and felt like our thoughts were in the right direction when we began this meeting.
Mr. Holden.
City Attorney, you want to comment on that? Is that okay, what we're about to do here, maybe?
If it's a matter of inspiration, yes, it's fine.
Why are you limited to inspiration? Go ahead. No, I just want to tell me, can you clarify that, please?
That's what Ms. Hahn is asking for, is an invocation of a matter.
Will it cause Mr. Pacheco not to insult me or something like that?
Possibly. You could call it a moment of civility.
Huh?
Well, let's call it a moment of reconciliation, Mr. There you go.
All right.
Or resuscitation, as the case may be. I mean, whatever you wish.
All right.
Or what was it? Agitation?
Right.
Agitation? Infatuation?
All of it.
Now, would you agree out there this group needs to be inspired?
Mr. Holden.
If Gail, if it's okay with the city attorney, it's all right with me.
Thank you, Mr.
Since
Holden.
when did you use that standard?
Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Thank you.
Since when did you use that standard?
Give me a moment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This matter was taken up in rules and IGR. There is a recommendation from the committee with a unanimous vote pursuant to the motion brought in by Ms. Hahn. I move the committee's recommendation for adoption by the full council so that we can proceed with an appropriate way to start the meetings on each Tuesday of the week.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas. Other members wishing to be heard? Before we take a vote, colleagues, I just wanted to point out, I believe it's clear, but just to point out that this would be a change in what we've been doing since September 11th as well. Not only what the council's been doing historically, but currently we have the Pledge of Allegiance at every meeting. This would be changing it to only on Tuesdays, beginning the week, on Tuesdays with the pledge, as well as the moment of inspiration. And with that, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misikowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Zine, Padilla.
11 ayes.
All right, now.
Item 19 is approved. Next item, please.
Item number 22, called special by Councilmember Hahn.
Item 22 now before us. Ms. Hahn.
Yes, this is an important item this morning, particularly with our neighborhood councils here in the audience. And what this is doing is having a transfer of $350,000 that the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment can now use specifically for resources to forming neighborhood councils. One of the problems we've had, 22? Am I on the right night? Oh. Yes.
Go, sister, go.
You're still trying to embarrass me in my community.
You're on the right one.
We've had problems when neighborhood councils are trying to form in the city. Many of them have to use money out of their own pocket to do things like copy flyers, buy stamps, buy paper, very basic things. And one of the things we're criticizing our neighborhood councils sometimes is they're not doing enough outreach to include all stakeholders in the community, and yet we're asking them to front load and to fund some of these efforts on their own. I know the Wilmington Neighborhood Council passed a hat at every meeting. These people took money out of their own pockets just to get this neighborhood council forming. And I don't believe that that was the spirit that was intended in the city charter. As we talked about forming neighborhood council, it was not our intent that people in this city fork up their own money to form these neighborhood councils. So this will be money used to give to neighborhood councils. If Greg Nelson is here, one of the things I would like to ask, and I know it would be important to these two neighborhood councils sitting here, can this money be used to reimburse the current neighborhood councils who have already put money out of their pocket to form these organizations?
We have asked the city attorney that question, and does the city attorney want to answer?
Yes. No, unfortunately, that is not a proper purpose of this money. This money is to be used for, my understanding is a Congress of Neighborhoods, and in that way, it would be used to help. But in terms of reimbursing an organization that was not formed previously, we cannot use this money.
Yeah, I'll amplify on that a little bit, because my conversation was with another deputy city attorney, and we were trying to get the information to Gail. Yeah, there's no money in this motion to be used for preparing a Congress of Neighborhoods, but the concern that the city attorney did have were on two very important legal issues. One was whether or not it's a gift of public funds, because we would be giving money to groups before they were certified neighborhood councils. And the other one was just on an equity issue as to whether or not this would be fair to the subsequent neighborhood councils that are developing. So the city attorney said that she'd be looking into this, but probably would not have an answer by this morning.
Well, I'm not comfortable if I'm voting for $350,000 to be used for the Congress of Neighborhoods, because that was not what the intent was. The intent was this money went to, okay, all right, but that's incorrect, Madam City Attorney.
You know, I have to apologize, because I spoke to Ms. Poindexter last night just before I left, and I'm not fully up to speed on this. I know that she had advised that this money that's being approved, transferred, could not be used to reimburse previously. That was her feeling at that point. If she's still investigating that, my recommendation would be to continue this until Friday. I'm sorry, I know that it's not at this meeting, but then Ms. Poindexter could be there and it would be clarified.
Okay, well then I feel more comfortable with that to get some of those answers, and I hope that at every way we can pursue really helping to reimburse some of these councils that put money out of their own pocket, because I do not think that was the intent that the city meant for neighborhoods. So I will move that we continue this until Friday, and hopefully we'll have better answers.
Okay. Colleagues, remember, motion to continue. Ms. Mizikowski, to be followed by Mr. Reyes and Mr. Holden.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was, in last year's budget, I believe that we had earmarked some money for the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment, specifically for copying and outreach, and I think we put it in the unappropriated balance because at that time we didn't have the neighborhood councils and we're waiting to see. I just want to clarify that this is money that had been previously earmarked in the unappropriated budget, and you are now looking to access it. Is that correct?
Correct. This is money in the unappropriated balance without any specific use designated to it.
No, then that's a different answer, and maybe Mr. Fujioka can answer. As we go forward in a budget year, we put aside money in the unappropriated balance earmarked for certain things, and I know that, and then there was just a question we needed clarification from the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment as to when and how they would want to access it. If this is not now earmarked and we are just taking it from the unappropriated balance, I'd also have a concern because obviously at this point we have a lot of other serious budget needs that have been caused by the emergencies and after 9/11. And I would just want to make sure that that this is being looked at in that context, as well as then how much money had been put aside to the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment for copying and outreach. I mean, there was specific money allocated, whether or not it was allocated in your budget or as I had been led to believe that this was in the unappropriated balance to be earmarked later, and that would be the action we're taking now. I would just like that clarification.
Your assertion is correct.
Okay,
it was
so
earmarked. It is in the year
correct.
B for outreach services.
Okay, that's I appreciate that clarification. I would also like to suggest that we can go ahead and act on this because there might be other neighborhood councils out there that are looking to get money, and I would think that the department can discuss with the city attorney. It seems to me that the possibility of paying back for legitimate expenses that might have been done in the organizing, if it can be shown with some receipts, et cetera, then that this money going to those neighborhood councils for that purpose would make sense. But again, just like in any other expenditure from the city, one would need some degree of certainty of the money and that there really was receipt for it and legitimate expenditures. In the meantime, I know that a number of council offices, and I believe that all of us are working with neighborhood councils, offering our services, our district offices with copying machines and the like. And I believe that the Department of Neighborhood Services now is already doing that as well. So I just would like to make sure, so it's not that they are completely left out there alone, that there are avenues available for these neighborhood councils. This significant amount of $300,000 was meant to be given to really gear up and do more of this, but I just wanted to make sure that it hasn't been completely devoid at this point.
Correct.
Mr. Reyes.
One of the concerns I have is the issue of access to resources. And as we all know, different neighborhoods have different capacities to organize and to put together their neighborhoods. So my concern is when we do have more information, since this is being continued, there should be some discussion or understanding of accessibility to these funds. I mean, how will they be dispersed? Who will have the ability to get to the funds? The whole issue of organizing those areas that have a tough time putting together the kinds of resources to be able to meet and to essentially even attend meetings. So these are the struggles we're having in neighborhoods where you have working class folks, you have folks that are limited time in the evenings to meet. So access to resources are even limited at that stage. So I'd like to get some thoughts on that. But if not, some kind of response when you do give us more information, given that this item has been continued.
Will do.
Thank you.
Mr. Holden, to be followed by Mr. Pacheco.
Well, if you're going to continue this until Friday, I was just waiting until Friday to make my comments. And I think Ms. Hahn's going to provide lunch for us, and all I need is a free lunch, and I'm ready.
Somebody hungry. Mr. Pacheco.
Colleagues, Mr. President, my only concern in going in the direction of reimbursement is, are we reimbursing individuals who forked over money, or is the reimbursement going into a general fund of the neighborhood council? That's the first question I would like to have answered on Friday. And the second question I would like to have answered on Friday is, will we be spending more money monitoring the legitimacy of the submitted receipts than what we are returning to the community? Because obviously every receipt and every request for reimbursement will have to be scrutinized through our normal city bureaucracy. And that costs us money also. So those are just the questions that I want to have answered. I mean, are we going to spend more money administratively, and then when we have returned? And so I just want to be sure that we're doing this intelligently when we move forward.
We'll have the controller address this also.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard? If not, we do have a motion to continue this item until Friday. So without objection. Without objection, this item is continued. Next item, please.
Item number 25, called special by Councilmember Pacheco.
Item number 25, Mr. Pacheco.
Mr. President, I've checked with the clerk, and my questions have been answered. I'm satisfied with the motion as it stands, so no, I have no further questions or
Okay,
comments.
this is a reward motion before us. Colleagues, anybody else wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Miskowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Padilla.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Let's end that forthwith. Mr. Pacheco?
I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time, but Mr. President, colleagues, I would like to move to reconsider item 33 on yesterday's agenda and have it continue to Friday's calendar. And we will take it up at that time because I understand Mr. Burnson would like to be a part of this.
Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
I mean, a motion.
Second.
Okay. Want to repeat the motion, Mr. Pacheco?
I'd like to make a motion to reconsider item number 33 from the December 11th agenda item and have it placed on Friday's agenda for December 14th.
Mr. Person says no.
We have a motion for reconsideration
Second.
and a second. Now, discussion, we go to a vote.
Members,
Point of order.
May I speak on the motion now, Mr. President?
Mr. Ridley Thomas.
It would be useful to know what the motion is,
What the item
what item
is.
number 33 is.
That's what I want to do right now.
Mr. Pacheco.
Item number 33
What
was
is
the
item number
motion
33?
involving the refund of the sewer service charge and extending the
to a
time.
homeowners association that you're trying to
Mr.
take
Holden,
away. Go ahead.
This is Mr. Pacheco has the floor.
All right. I didn't know.
To the homeowners association, what was the verbiage you want me to add, Mr. Holden? To the homeowners association? Which would extend beyond the 1-year statute of limitation in our charter and under state law. And the city attorney has raised some questions and concerns regarding the legality of that action in terms of the council imposing a standard that contradicts state law and our city charter. I would like to have Mr. Burnson here on Friday. I would like to have the city attorney ready to give us a full presentation and full discussion. That's why I want to continue it for Friday's agenda and not hear it today, but I do want to make the motion and ask that my colleagues support the motion to reconsider it based on those legal questions pending.
Okay. Members, both members Holden and Miskowski wish to speak on the item. There's a motion for reconsideration and a second before us.
No, he spoke in the motion, Mr. President.
No, he was outlining the item.
I
He's
know,
asking us to reconsider.
but he did not do it accurately.
But we all know which
No,
item it
serious.
is he's talking about.
No, he
So
really did
without
not.
discussion, we need to
Mr.
proceed
President,
to a
he
vote on
talked about state
reconsideration.
law, being in compliance with state law, and that's the reason why he's doing it. This has nothing to do with state law, Mr. President.
Mr. Holden, we need to take a vote on reconsideration.
No, I understand what your
If
intentions
it's
are.
reconsidered, then the matter will be placed before us
The matter is,
for discussion.
Mr. President, he asked for continuation, and he explained the nature of the proposed matter,
Well, it hasn't,
the issue.
Mr. Holden, it hasn't been continued yet. It hasn't come before us yet. There's a motion for reconsideration. We need to proceed with a vote on reconsideration. If the motion passes, then we
No,
can
Hal
have
doesn't
discussion
want us
on
to
the item.
reconsider, and I was trying to explain that.
Okay. Madam Clerk, please open the roll on reconsideration.
Garcetti?
And if you wish to vote no, Members, do you need to make yourself heard?
Point of order, if I could, Mr. Holden has indicated that Mr. Pacheco was incorrect in his explanation. I have in front of me the city attorney's letter, which says this letter is to formally advise you that both state law and the city's own charter set the statute of limitations. So Mr. Pacheco was correct in referring to state law per the city attorney's letter.
On reconsideration, Madam Clerk?
Well, I can speak against the motion on consideration, number one. And number two, it has nothing to do with state law. The city attorney has lost over and over again in cases which cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. Doesn't mean that because they take a position that they're right. Now, what it is in the city charter. City charter, as I mentioned in the committee that I was chairing, that it's called equal protection under the law. And
Mr.
that
Holden.
will apply statewide as well as
Mr. Holden.
locally. Yes?
Please vote no.
Well, I'm going to do that, but you lied. Mr. President, you had Mr. Koski give an explanation, Mr. Pacheco give an explanation. Don't you think the other side, prevailing side, previously should have a right to give an explanation?
Please make it brief, Mr. Holden.
Mr. President, members, this is a matter where we were charging sewer service charges to a homeowners association in the valley. The city attorney took the position that they can only go back, be reimbursed for 1 year of excess charges, not the total amount for which they were charged. In some cases, that matters came before my committee whereby the city, by error, charged excess sewer service charges to other property owners. And in those particular cases, they reimbursed 100%, notwithstanding the so-called charter amendment, which refers to statute of limitation of 1 year. I raised the argument to the city attorney that was not equal protection under the law, and it isn't. And that the plaintiff will prevail in a lawsuit, and they will. Should we deny them the right to go back from the date of discovery and then make an application to be reimbursed for the amount of monies that they've overpaid the city. And the city should not be in business for taking excess contributions for charges from homeowners, and I don't think that's right. And that's the matter before us. It has nothing to do with state law at all. It's a charter, it's local, but state law will prevail when it comes to equal protection in the law, and that's constitutional. They were not given the same consideration as some homeowners, property owners.
Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
And I want a no vote for Mr. Burns. This is a Valley issue.
Garcetti?
Mr. Garcetti?
Hahn?
No.
Holden?
No.
Labange?
Yes.
Misakowski?
Yes.
Pacheco?
Yes.
Perry? No. Reyes?
Yes.
Ridley Thomas?
No, I said vote.
Your vote.
Huh?
Ask your vote.
Good.
It's your vote.
Oh, no.
Weiss? Padilla?
Yes.
5 ayes, 6 noes.
Motion does not pass.
Hee-haw.
Next item, please.
Next item, Mr. President, item number 26, called special by Council Member Garcetti.
Mr. Garcetti, item 26.
Council members, members of the public, this motion, which is going to develop a dedicated section on our city's website to deal with the information related to the consent decree, I think is something long overdue, and I welcome it. We've gotten a lot of emails, phone calls, and certainly as I've been out there in the community in my district, a lot of people who read about the consent decree don't really understand it fully. And I think it's incumbent upon us in city government to make sure that we really do the proper outreach to let folks know from as neutral a vantage point as possible what the consent decree is about. And as new documents come in, because this is really the battleship which is carrying all or most of, though it shouldn't have to be, most of the reform that we are undertaking within the Los Angeles Police Department. It's an effort for your average citizen to be able to go online and find out about it. I'd like to praise this motion, ask for my colleagues' support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garcetti. Any other members wishing to be heard? Mr. Ridley Thomas.
Thank you. Mr. President, as maker of the motion, I think it's worth our being conscious of the fact that the public is due as much information as we can possibly afford them involving the consent decree. This can do no more than to aid us in our attempt to restore the level of public confidence by providing public information. The chair of the Public Safety Committee is working diligently to try and guide this process along with the police department and the police commission. I want to reiterate that it is important that we keep the public informed as much as possible each step of the way. And the longer it takes us to do that, the more I believe is at risk. It is easy to address these issues when there is a crisis. And the further away we get from the crisis, the lower the intensity level with respect to our resolving what I think are structural, systemic, and/or inherent problems. The consent decree arises out of that context, and it would seem to me that we are duty-bound to cause our respective constituencies to be apprised each step of the way. And so I urge your unanimous vote of item number 26.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas. Other members wishing to be heard? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please open the roll.
Garcetti, Hahn, Holden, Labange, Misikowski, Pacheco, Perry, Reyes, Ridley Thomas, Weiss, Padilla.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item, please.
This is the time for comments from the public on items not under the agenda, under council's jurisdiction.
Public comment period. The meeting is not over, folks. Please hang tight. Opportunity for members of the public to address the council on items not appearing on today's agenda, but within the city's jurisdiction. The council calls forward at this time Alex Muratalla, to be followed by Skip Baldwin and Salvador Apodaca.
My name is Alex Muratalla. I've been a resident of Wilmington for 40-something years plus. You guys are here. It's a great day for Wilmington, but you got to remember, a great day for some people is a bad day for others because we don't have no city representatives in our community. I live on the Lower East Side of Wilmington. We don't have a street sweeper to come on a regular basis. There's no posting on our blocks. Anything that happens in our community, there's 2 police cars allowed in Wilmington, half on one side, half on the other side. It's a shame. You guys are all here. You guys are part of one of the biggest cities in the world, but yet we're neglected on our end of the city. Wilmington wants to break away from the city for one reason alone. We don't get represented from you people. How about our kids? We can send our kids every day to school, but yet some of them are dropping out. And what do? Well, it's a part of life. The city of Los Angeles, to me, promotes gang violence in my community for one reason only. When you're a little kid, you give them a ball to play with, a jump rope, a couple cameras to play with. But yet, when they get a little older, what do we give them? We've been fighting for a multi-purpose center for years and years. You people, some people here gave us whatever you want to call it, a housing complex where we wanted our multi-purpose center at, and your housing project is still not complete to this day. We have a couple issues in front of us where you want to put a refrigeration unit right in our community. How many of you people live with trucks driving right next to your house? But yet in Wilmington, it's a common issue. We have trucks driving through our community all day long, but yet police people are here all day long. But how about giving any of them people a ticket? No way. We have the biggest port in the world, one of the biggest ports in the world. But yet, where do we get our money from? We get our money from you people. What do we get? Nothing. Nothing. I hate to say it. We get, if you would give us 1% of this port money, it goes right through our city.
If I could ask you to conclude, please.
Okay, and I hate to say it, but we need your help. We do need your help. Our new councilman, we're hoping you will help us, because our last councilman did it. Thank you.
Mr. Garcetti?
I know it's not the usual custom to respond to public comment, but if I may respond, sir, to what you just said, I just want to say that the words that you said today are words that I know that every single one of us here in our communities, and you're right. We've had failures in the past. Things won't be perfect in the future, but today we are here in the community to be able to hear directly from you. You know, in a community that I have, Elysian Valley in my area, there are trucks that go through it, there are trains that idle there. There have been 10 murders since August. We've been talking with, in Councilmember Ridley Thomas and other folks about the gang violence that's been going on in our communities, where kids are getting shot in some of our rec and park centers here in the city of Los Angeles, where there's too much killing, where there's too much violence, where there aren't the opportunities for young people. You have a consensus here. You have a consensus here, and I can tell you that after being here for 6 months, to make sure that there's representation. So that the folks that are in Wilmington talking about breaking away, so the folks that are in the Valley talking about breaking away, the folks who live in Hollywood, where I represent, who are talking about breaking away, are saying nothing different than the folks who aren't talking about breaking away, who are also underserved in their communities. And we have to give it time now for us to be able to try to make a change in that. And I know that we have that consensus here. So thank you for saying that stuff. Know that what you're saying is being said throughout this city.
Thank you,
and
Mr.
that's
Garcetti.
moving us every single day.
Mr. Holden and Mr. Weiss.
I have to agree. In 1989, I came down and visited the Wilmington area and that other community as well. And I must tell you that I was shocked by what I saw. Junkyards. Streets unpaved, no sidewalks. Street signs posted, you can't park at a certain time, but no sidewalks. No curbs, no gutters. There were none then. I've been lately, but maybe what you tell me, there are none now. And you're paying your taxes, and you're not getting the services. And there's some discussion about leaving the city of Los Angeles, seceding. But I must tell you this, that you have a council person, and all indications she'd be very responsive. More than that, in my lifetime, you now have yourself a mayor. You're going to get something done down here. And I will support both of them to have some assurance that your needs will be met and that your tax dollars are properly spent. The port should give more. They use your streets. That's why I asked them. That's right. The $14 million is not enough. They use the streets. They stink up the place. I know that. Junkyards and dust all over the place. It's got to be fixed. And I'm sure
I got my work cut out.
Ms. Hahn has a work cut out for her, and I'm sure she'll take care of it.
Thank you, Mr. Holden.
We'll support her. I'll
Weiss?
support you.
We'll support her.
Passes. Mr. Reyes?
One of the key points that I heard in your presentation, sir, is that you referred to the harbor. One of the questions we asked when the harbor commissioners were being brought into the council is, what is the relationship between their economic development strategies and the pockets of poverty that are around the harbor? Myself working in economic development strategies, you have potential, great potential. And from my understanding, speaking to Councilmember Janice Hahn, there is a real clear connection between plans for the front harbor development, and what is key as an advocate, obviously you are an advocate, speaking before us here today, is to ask the harbor commissioners, what is their economic development strategy for your area? Where is the linkage Where is the job creation? You need to ask that question, and I know you'll get strong support from the City Council. It is a tremendous resource. The link has to be strengthened, and you're in a key position to ask that through your neighborhood councils, through your council member, and through your various departments that serve your area. And hopefully things will all change for the better.
Thank you, Mr. Reyes. For the members of the public, I do want to point out that it is not typical, actually very rare, that the council responds to the public comment. By law, we're not allowed to act on items brought to our attention during the public comment period, but given the nature of the council meeting in the community, especially here in Wilmington, I felt it was important to afford the members of the council an opportunity to respond. So I want to, Mr. LaBranche, quickly, and then we want to get to the other speakers.
Just real quickly, thank you very much. What's great about this is I left City Hall this morning and I went behind Parker Center to Judge John Iso Street and drove down here through many of your council districts and saw the streets and saw some of the other cities and the work that they do around Carson. And I spoke with your councilwoman about the nice work that Edison does, or the city of Carson, on the Edison power line, transmission line, that we should do the same for our Department of Water and Power in our transmission lines around. But some of the beautification that other cities do, we should continue to do. It's 20.1 miles straight down San Pedro to Avalon, down here to Banning Landing, and it's wonderful to be here. And all of us, the more times that we get off the freeways and drive through the neighborhoods of Los Angeles, it will give us thoughts and ideas to better serve the people of Los Angeles and to better hear the people of Los Angeles and act on their concerns and take that special care of neighborhoods, because the pride of Wilmington and the pride of other communities of Los Angeles stands out, and we need to encourage that pride so they can be successful like all neighborhoods in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. LaBranche. Getting back to the public comment cards, Mr. Skip Baldwin, to be followed by Salvador Apodaca and Judy Carnes.
Thank you again. You heard Mr. Maritella say, well, you know, we had a place for our community center over there somewhere. It was in our park, and now we don't have a place for it anymore. Well, this came before the city council before you people got here, with the exception of Mr. Holden. And we had deeded to us a large strip of property in East Wilmington known as the Greenbelt Park. And we got a real estate speculator in there that made some bucks off of it, and he sold the idea to the city council that they should spend $300,000 to remove the stipulation from this park that it could be used for nothing but parks. So they did that, and now they put in welfare housing over there. It's called Habitat for Humanity. It's welfare housing, and the city supports it, and they spent more millions of dollars over there. So that's where the place went to for our community center and so forth. Now I want to go a little further here. As you know, most of this, or all this block grant money comes through CDD, Community Development, and they absolutely and particularly exclude us from the meetings. And the reason I say that is because I've gone to them and I've also put it in writing. We need to know when those meetings are held. That's one of CDD's jobs, is to let the public know what's happening and get their input in it. Now, the last item I got from them was the 2000 budget, 99-2000 budget. They allotted 92.5% of their budget down this way to San Pedro. Remember, that money is supposed to be spread out and go to the lowest community, the lowest money-earning community. Well, you see where it went to, and you see the fancy signs, this is San Pedro down there. Then you talk about the fact we don't have paved streets and we don't have this and that. So I happen to talk.
If I could ask you to conclude, please.
Am I exceeding my time?
Close to it.
Anyway, I happened to talk with the CDD's representative here today, their liaison man. He says, hey, you know, he said, we sent a notice to the city council person here. That's not the city council's person, is the job. The job for CDD is to put it in the newspapers. And speaking of Carson, you should see the large advertisements they put in when they've got CDD money to give away, block grant money to give away. It's not your job. It's supposed to go in the newspapers. And for that reason, I have told CDD, here's the fax number. You get it free, send it down here, or I will do it for you. They don't do anything.
Thank you very much.
I don't mean to go any further or expend my time in here, but I've been asked to bring you this message from our police officers, which we're very short of. I've been asked to bring this message to you. Wilmington doesn't put in too many complaints to the police department. For that reason, they think we have less crime down here. For that reason, they have made a pool of the officers that are disabled and put them in this area. They're not sharing it with the rest of the council districts. They want you to know this, and they want this pool dispersed among all the council districts, and we can have our fair share of officers that are still able to get on the street.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Mr. Apodaca, to be followed by Judy Carnes and Bill Schwab.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen on the board and in the audience. This is a great opportunity for myself. Not only was it a blessing last night that certification was done, but now we're getting to what's being real. And if we're asking the community to be real, it's a two-way street. And so everybody has to answer somewhere down the line to somebody. Now, my question, okay, we could go over all day long about education and where allocations and resources are being from, and we already kind of have a good idea of where roadblocks are set up. My concern right now is not only as well as what's been presented on the agenda, and like Mr. Thomas had said on the information for public, every day I think a lot of us, we not only live here but work here, and we hear about terrorism all the time. Certain areas in LA are always being on the agenda and 5 o'clock news all the time. Who is the ones actually talking hand in hand from the government and telling our news media exactly what locations? Because they must have some special information that public or city officials like yourselves know that we don't know, and we're supposed to submit ourselves in some sort of way to take us on our natural courses of life to where like if I'm doing something and like I'm showing up Monday through Friday to go work, okay, I have a set place and time to be, and I'm on the freeway at a certain time place. I'm not going to go half hour, 2 hours out of my way to go somewhere where it's been a way of life for me all my life, you know, as far as making a way of living. So I'd like to take it into consideration. I know there's room for discussion on many of it, and this is just the beginning, and I thank the good Lord for this opportunity. May the Lord bless you and have a good Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Judy Carnes, to be followed by Bill Schwab and Gertrude Schwab.
Okay, good morning. Whoops, can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, council people. Council people Galanter, Holden, Burnson, and Ridley Thomas have pulled through for the little guy in the past. Specifically, I was acting as the volunteer press person, the press officer for LA City Animal Regulation in the early 90s when that position had been frozen during the city's economic trials and tribulations. Well, we're here again. We need your help again. And this time we're asking for all of the new city council people to join with the veterans in supporting the hiring of new Los Angeles Port Police. 20% of the Port Police will have retired from the period of January 2000 to January 2002. And you're saying, well, shouldn't they be absorbed into Los Angeles, LAPD? And we're asking, please, no. LAPD, God love them, have their own series of problems. In fact, they were on your agenda item today as that overseeing committee report. Now, the Port Police have their own domain. We want it separate from LAPD. We want what they do to be kept separate from the problems and the current concerns with LAPD. Their domain includes over 27 miles of shoreline as well as over 10,000 acres of Harbor Department land and warehouses. This is a world-class port. Don't we deserve a world-class police department? Give them the best, the state-of-the-art equipment. Give them another drug-sniffing dog. So much of Southern California's economy is tied directly to the Port of Los Angeles. Again, we refer to it as the Port of Los Angeles. Automobiles, the entertainment industry, food and beverages, clothing, household goods, all come through the port or work around on port land. And again, we need to keep them directly independent from the LAPD, and we want to ask you to notice right now that they're working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. They need your help. We need your help. Who would have thought on September 10th that the entire way that we live our lives would be changed. God help us. I mean, truly, God help all of Southern California. Should anything happen to the Port of Los Angeles, please help us. Councilman Holden, you've always been our supporter. Councilman Mark Ridley Thomas.
I'm not going to change.
Okay, well,
Thank you very
that's
much.
your right. Thank you so much.
Ms. Hahn?
I just want to respond quickly to that, Judy. As you know, the city charter specifically prohibits the Port Police from being absorbed into the Los Angeles Police Department. So they are protected now by law in our city charter. And also, let me say that the mayor convened a port security task force, which just this week came up with its recommendations on how to keep the port protected and keep it in a heightened sense of security as we move forward. And one of the recommendations was to immediately increase the staffing of our Los Angeles Port Police. And I'd like to introduce Captain Tracy in the back of the room with the Los Angeles Port Police. So you've got our support to do that. But I don't want to undermine the LAPD. They're also a great help down here in our port area, and we're so proud of our harbor division. And we have standing in the back of the room, I understand is a constituent of yours, Councilman LaBonge, our commanding officer of the harbor division, Captain Paul Kim.
Mr. Bill Schwab. Mr. Bill Schwab and Ms.
Yeah, my name
Gertrude
is Bill Schwab. I'm a resident of Wilmington. I would just like to say that when Mr. Holden was speaking about coming to Wilmington, I think he came down here about 6 times. I think he was probably the only councilman that came down so many times. He invited me one time to make a tour around the port, and we made a trip around the port. We spent most of the day, and I think he was a little tired because I heard some logs going on in the back of the car. But anyway, we made it around the port, and we had an old restaurant, I think it was the oldest one here in Wilmington, or in the harbor area, called the Port Cafe, and he wanted to go get something to eat, and after we ate, I made a grab for the bill. He says, no. He says, I'll pay. I don't want to be obligated to anybody. So I thought that was pretty good. Well, anyway, he did come down to our house one time, and on a rainy day, he came down to our homeowners meeting in Wilmington. Another time he came over to the port. We were having trouble with the trucks when I was a truck commissioner for the Wilmington homeowners, and the trucks were going right down Avalon Boulevard. Can you imagine these big container trucks going to your community? And he did come to the port. We had a night meeting there, and I don't know where he got all the time, but he probably didn't have any homework to do, but he showed up, and he made his little spiel, and in a few months later, we did get a regular truck route, and we got the trucks out of the community. So with that, I'd just like to thank him and give him one of these pins that I'm wearing, and for helping us clean up the area. And that's for you. And you can give one each to your colleagues. Thank you. And you don't forget the janitor.
Only when they come down here 6 times.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Schwab.
Well,
I also would like to add that one who's lived here and been around the community and taken a lot of the elected officials and ones that wanted to be elected officials, which many of them have. I took Steve Horn around Wilmington. He became our congressman from Long Beach. Of course, he's a Republican. That's all right. But anyway, I took Janice Hahn. You can see where she's at now. I took her brother. You can see where he's at now. I spent 8 hours with Jimmy Hahn around Wilmington. He spent 8 hours. Imagine that. And he went to schools. We went to diving school over here. We went to refinery. We went to just about everything. And he was the one that upstarted this here place when it was. This building here was shut down for 2 years. We brought him down here, and he says, "What's the big trouble?" And the trouble was it was in litigation with a contractor in the port, and he said, "Well, you need to upstart this thing. You could wait here for years before you get a building." And the building they've got another contract, and they finished this beautiful building.
Thank you, Mr. Schwab.
Just one thing real fast. I also wanted to say that this port of Los Angeles owns more real estate in Wilmington than anybody else. At one time, they said they weren't going to buy any more backland in my community, and they continue to buy it. And I think it's time to put a moratorium on buying any more property in my community, because we don't even have real estate to put another school in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gertrude Schwab.
Thank you. My name is Gertrude Schwab, and I was born and raised in this community, so you know how long I've been here. I just wanted to thank you, City Council members, and a big thank you to our Councilwoman Janice Hahn for coming to Wilmington and our beautiful Bannings Landing Community Center. I personally worked on this center since 1989. The port took it away from us twice, but we persevered and we dedicated this building in June of this year. Long struggle, but perseverance pays off. And I would like you to know, do you know that we are closer to Catalina Island than we are to our downtown city council? So that's a big something. So when I heard that you're going to be a traveling city council and you're going to be going to various communities in this big city of LA, I applaud you. So every resident in this big city of LA will be able to go and see you in action, and I hope you have a lot of action. That's about it. I would like to again thank you for coming down, and I hope you have toured this building and seen how beautiful it is. Thanks to the Port of Los Angeles, they did fund this building, but I will reiterate also that if you personally would take a tour of Wilmington and see the impact of the Port of Los Angeles on this community, it is just horrendous. The one thing I would like to also tell you, we have stored containers all over this community. And if there is ever a bill going before you, I would like to see a 10 or 20 cent tax on every stored community and every stored container in this community, and the money's put into a foundation to help the youth and help bring up this community of Wilmington to the right place it should be in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Holden.
As a former harbor commissioner, give her another big hand, Gertrude.
And that concludes public comment for today's meeting. Madam Clerk,
Motions for posting and referral.
those motions are posted and referred.
That clears the desk.
Any adjourning motions or announcements? Before we adjourn, Ms. Hahn.
Well, thank you. I just again wanted to thank all of my colleagues for coming down to Wilmington this morning. I think you've seen what many have referred to as a community that has been forgotten and neglected for a very long time, but I hope you also have seen a community made up with people who still continue to care about their community, care about their neighborhoods. And let's not forget that, of course, today was the first day that we recognized returning government and returning power back to the people in Wilmington by certifying the first neighborhood councils. And please be aware that I actually took two of my council members, Mr. Pacheco and Mr. Zine, on a tour of Wilmington this morning after the 5 a.m. mass, and I showed them the junkyards, the abandoned vehicles. I showed them the illegally stacked containers. So I wanted them to know what it is that you live with on a daily basis. And please know that you have the commitment not only of myself, but of my colleagues to do everything we possibly can to make this a community where the young people grow up and feel pride in their neighborhood, pride in their community, and pride in the city of Los Angeles. So it was great to be here today. Thank you. And on behalf of the Los Angeles Fire Department, our Fire Chief Bamatri, when you go out and exit today, there will be a water display on fireboat number 4. So that should be really thrilling, and each of the council members have a memento today of this council meeting, and it's from the fire department, and it shows the fireboat with the water display and Bannings Landing in the background, so you will always remember your trip down here today. So thank you again.
Are there any adjourning motions? Seeing none, then thank you all very much. This meeting is adjourned.
Better get out.